now for 4 minutes, 4 questions as part of our Talk Business podcast. I am joined as always by Wes Brown, our business editor. Thank you for being here, and let's get straight to it.
Let's get to it, man.
You ready?
I got two, you got two?
All right, I'm going first.
All right.
All right, Greek tragedy. That's what I think of when I think of Greece these days.
Yeah, Greek drama.
The austerity measure in Greece, roiling international financial markets. No one really knows what the outcome of this is going to be. The Greek people have been asked to vote on some referendum that they don't even really know what a yes or no vote means. How much is all of this affecting U.S. stock markets?
Well, anytime there's something this broad that affects where the markets are uncertain, where investors are certain, whether they're in Europe or in the United States, it's going to have a effect on all markets. I mean, especially something this large, because if you have the Greece economy collapses, then because it's tied to the euro, it'll affect every country, 18 countries in Europe that are tied to the euro, so it'll have a broad effect. Already in the United States, you're already seeing some sell-off of stocks this week because of any security or any company that's tied to the European market. People are selling those stocks off, so it's already having a broad effect. The concern is if it's going to have a long-term effect. A lot of financial analysts are saying, and brokers are saying, asking their investors to stick with their long-term investments, stick with the companies that they know, but kind of stay away from European stocks right now.
I'm staying away from Greek yogurt for sure.
All right, my question to you, a U.S. Chamber official recently came to Arkansas and told officials here that her national group wants a tax that the federal government can collect that's transportation related, that would fill the gap between transportation costs and expenses to fix our highways. My question is, what other solutions should be discussed besides raising the gas tax to pay for our highways?
Well, there's a lot of things being discussed to pay for highways right now.
Yeah.
And there's a governor's task force looking at that here in the state of Arkansas, but I think toll roads are being discussed, mileage tax is being discussed, the gas tax that you mentioned is being discussed. Nationally, there's talk about repatriating companies that have tax havens overseas and giving them some sort of security to come back, that might be there. You hear talk about cutting mass transit and the beautification efforts. None of that makes up enough money to do what is needed with the roads.
Right.
And so the gas tax that's being proposed, at least by the U.S. Chamber in this instance, is to raise the tax a penny a month for a year and then index it for inflation.
Right.
That's probably a practical long-term solution that would generate the money that's needed or come closer to it, but politically, it's never going to happen.
It's a non-starter.
It's a non-starter.
Yeah, well.
All right, my turn to ask you.
Okay.
Lowell-based J.B. Hunt Transportation up in the great northwest of Arkansas is going to be added to the Standards & Poor's 500, the S&P 500. What effect is this going to have, if any, on the company stock and the company's future earnings?
I think it's going to have a broad effect. Anytime you are tied to one of the major benchmark indexes like the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones 30 or the NASDAQ 100, there's two things that happen. One, you get the prestige for being connected to one of those benchmarks. And the second thing that happens is that you get these institutional investors that come in and they tie their funds to anything that's related to maybe the S&P or the Dow Jones 500, but also you get the mutual fund that mimic, they create these funds that mimic the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones. So it's going to have a broad effect of bringing cash into new investors into J.B. Hunt and new companies that'll see this company. And also, we already have 3 companies in Arkansas that are tied to the S&P 500, Walmart, of course, Tyson, and Murphy Oil down in El Dorado. So they'll add another Arkansas company to those stocks.
All right, well, that sounds pretty prestigious, and it'll pay for that new building J.B. Hunt's building for their headquarters as well.
Yeah, my last question relates to yesterday's, or earlier this week, Governor Hutchinson signed a memorandum with the country of Vietnam. And, he's been on kind of a lot of trips. He's been to Silicon Valley, he's been to France, he's been there. Country on his globe-trotting agenda for over the next several months. He is going
to be the overseas governor here before it's all said and done. Like you say, the globe-trotting governor there. Asa Hutchinson seems to have a different demeanor or composition than Governor Mike Beebe did. Governor Mike Beebe hated to travel overseas. He went once to Japan and China, and he went once or twice to Europe, I think. And other than that, no international travel that I knew of. Yeah. Maybe he didn't like the golf courses over there or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, Asa Hutchinson early in his administration has already been to Germany, already been to France, as you indicated. Says he is going to go to Vietnam as a result of this trade pact here. I think that you will see him, if he's going to go that far to the Far East, I think he'll also do a swing through Japan and through China. It seems like it would make sense while you're there. It's just long travel. Heck, he may go south of the border too. We may see Asa Hutchinson take trips to Mexico or Brazil and parts of South America as
He's
they
got the
try to
Olympics
recruit.
going on down there pretty soon. So.
You got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I think that he'll be a much more active governor in going overseas than Mike Beebe was. So Governor Asa Hutchinson, maybe he'll go to Antarctica before it's all said and done.
If there are jobs
and bring
there.
back if there's jobs there.
Okay, all right.
All right, Wes Brown, as always, good stuff. 4 minutes, 4 questions. Thank you.
All right, thanks for inviting me.
All right. Well, you're kind of part of the
All
family
right,
now,
okay,
so
all
it's
right.
not invited anymore. That's all for this edition of Business and Politics. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned to talkbusiness.net for the latest in business and politics.